All right, they claim the American dream now costs $5 million. Wow, that is a lot of money to spend a night with Sydney Sweeney. That's crazy. Hi, everybody. Kenny Webster. Welcome back from break. State Representative Brian Harrison was just here, and we're going to do something a little different here for the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. If you're just getting connected to us, I am filled with in a room with so much testosterone right now. This is like if Hamburger Helper made testosterone, this would be testosterone. I have JD Shipley in here.
What's going on, guys?
A brilliant author, personal trainer, strength training coach, owner of Starting Strength Houston, Starting Strength Katy. In the house right now. JD, how you doing, my brother?
All right. I'm going to have to figure out what it is that I'm going to write to fill the brilliant author shoes, but I'll take it. I'll take it as a challenge.
When I look you up online, it says JD Shipley, author. Did you not know that?
No.
That's a thing online.
I've written one article for the Starting Strength website.
Did you think I just made that up? I found that online.
That's awesome.
And then also here in the building right now, public speaker. He does TED Talks. I often refer to you as a right-wing environmentalist, but that's not fair. That's not what you are.
That's not really fair. I'm non.
That's not all.
He's not a right-wing environmentalist.
What's it called?
That's crazy. He's not an environmentalist.
Well, I'm an. Oh, God, yeah. Way to corner me there, Kenny.
Jesse Henry, you're my neighbor, and JD Shipley, you guys are both actual friends of mine, but you both do something really interesting. And the three of us have something in common. I am a man. You're a man. You're a man. We all have this crazy radical belief that there's men and there's women, and that's really it. There isn't 76 other things. That's and that shouldn't be a radical opinion. But because men are unique to women, we have health needs that differ greatly than women do. And this isn't one of those radio segments where we're going to try to sell you supplements or testosterone shots, or I'm not selling T shots. I don't know if you guys are, but if you do need supplements, go to gettheT.com, use promo code WJ. But both of you have a very unique take on health. We're all involved in the same strength training program. I always describe it as it's a very elite strength training program called Starting Strength, created by this guy named Mark Ripito. Mark's a little controversial in and of his own right. JD, how do you explain who Mark Ripito is to people that don't know?
Oh my gosh. Mark Ribito is so he's a guy who authored the book Starting Strength. It is a distillation of years of experience, and he's let the data kind of speak for itself. And I think he carries that mindset throughout the rest of what he does. He lets data speak for itself, and he will adjust his opinions if the data proves otherwise.
During the pandemic, Mark Ripito, on a national level, because he created this fitness program that's used in gyms all over the countries, he was considered to be one of the original guys to say closing the gyms is a bad idea. If this is a health epidemic that affects the immunocompromised, not exercising is one of the worst things that you could do. At the time, that was radical. That was a crazy thing to say. Now, that's what everyone thinks. That's conventional wisdom. Most people would agree closing the gyms during a health epidemic, telling people they couldn't go to the beach. But at the time, you guys at Starting Strength, I mean, now even liberals agree with that. But at the time, you guys got a lot of pushback, didn't you?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yep.
What was that like? Did people criticize you? Were you attacked for it? Did anyone say anything to you?
So we closed down because we didn't know what all we were going through.
And you were legally allowed to, or required to at first, right?
Yeah. Well, so we did it because we we weren't sure what all this was going to be. Then fairly quickly we realized that there's just more going on that closing didn't make sense, and so we opened up a couple weeks early. And we got one message posted on our door that blamed us for that person's uncle dying.
You guys opening your gym caused somebody to die retroactively? That's amazing. How's that even possible, JD?
I don't know.
But now nobody disagrees with that. Look, I have liberal Democrat friends who look back on it. They're like, yeah, if only we knew now what we know now. It's like, well, we did kind of know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I digress. This isn't about that. Jesse, you're interesting, too, because 5 or 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been considered conservative or right-wing or anything.
No,
but because of Bobby Kennedy Jr., because of the MAHA movement, which a lot of moms and parents and people that 10 years ago, like Elon Musk, would have been considered a liberal, now all find themselves on the political right. But it's not even political, right? It's just the idea that you don't want chemicals in your food and drugs that are harmful. That shouldn't be political at all.
Nothing about what Bobby Kennedy's doing is political. Now, I get how people, that are concerned with vaccines are concerned about what Bobby Kennedy's doing. But if you look at what he's doing in food, in agriculture, in the chemical sector, in the pharma sector, most notably reducing the amount of chemical and toxin exposure on everyday goods and items, you can't argue that that's a bad thing. And this was a liberal talking point, I think, 5 or 10 years ago.
All right, I agree with most of what you're saying, but I've never actually heard of anybody who died from microplastics in their testicles. Explain, please.
So I don't think the microplastics in your testicles might not kill you, but they're definitely going to disrupt your endocrine system, your brain chemistry, and your gut biome.
Explain how it affects your brain chemistry. What is it? What is plastic in my junk doing to affect my brain?
So by and large, one of the things that's destroying our planet right now is chemical warfare. And it's a war that's happening in silence. Most people don't really understand that this war is happening. And so what's happening is we're getting exposed to all these synthetic ingredients. And one of the most common synthetic ingredients is plastics. And plastics have been shown to disrupt your endocrine system. There's cancer-causing agents in there. There's neurotoxins. There's a lot of chemistry in plastic. So it's not as simple as just saying plastic is good for the world or bad for the world. We wouldn't survive as a species if it wasn't for plastic. Think about the base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
And what am I consuming that might cause the plastic to end up in my body?
So inside every plastic bottle of water, there's at least...
What? This bottle of water that I'm drinking from right now? What?
He says as he's drinking the water.
Right.
Unbelievable. Why didn't you say something?
Apparently at least 250,000 microplastics. Some people who calculate nanoplastics say it's much, much, much higher than that, but I've lost count at this point.
All right, Jesse, you moved to Texas at the beginning of the summer so you could take so you could do consulting work in the energy industry to spare people a long-winded story. And you were my neighbor. You live across the hall. You were only going to be here for a few months. And you and I started hanging out at some point. We had a lot in common politically, lifestyle-wise, all that. You know, not gay, I guess, you know, platonic neighbor. Good guy. Not there's anything wrong with the gays. I just, you know, Jesse and I dated similar women, you know, lived a similar. And I said to you, what kind of numbers are you putting up? You're 6'5", you're in amazing shape. And I was, no offense. I was a little underwhelmed by the kind of numbers you were putting up in the gym.
For sure.
And I said to you, if you started taking JD Shipley's strength training program, Starting Strength here in Houston, also in Katy, it was going to transform you.
Yep.
Did it do that?
It 10x'd anything that I could have assumed to be beneficial for me. Now, keep in mind, I spent about 2 years of what I would spend at Planet Fitness in 1 month of Starting Strength. But I was lifting the same weight for 10 years, and I was doing everything the hard way. I was working out 6 days a week. I was working out supersets. I was really stressing my body. When I came to Starting Strength, they really flipped the model on its head. So it's 3 days a week. It's strength training. It's not weightlifting. So it's really broke the paradigm for me. And over the past 5 weeks, I've been able to hit numbers that I thought were imaginary.
JD, can you explain that? What's the difference between strength training and weightlifting?
So I will reclassify the word weightlifting as exercise. So strength training is the accumulate. You're pursuing a physical adaptation, right? You're pursuing a particular goal. So everything is oriented around that goal, right? And so for strength training, we are training for the increase in strength. So everything is geared towards that. And the reason that we do that is because being stronger makes everything else that you do a little bit better. It makes conditioning easier. It makes daily life easier. It makes for the 60-year-old grandma who wants to get down on the floor and with her kids, and it makes it easier for her to do that and then get back up again. And as just as much as it makes it easier for the 17-year-old running back to hit the line harder. Right, it just makes daily performance a whole lot easier.
When people get older, they always have this idea, this common sense to tell you you're not supposed to lift weights when you're old, but that's the opposite of
that is exactly the opposite. It is actually the people who are older, who have lost muscle mass, who have lost bone density, who've lost the certain physical capability, who need it more than anything else. Right, you can make the argument that youth is wasted on the young, right? And so it's as you get older, you realize what you don't have anymore, and so those are the people that benefit even more from strength training.
I will tell you, and I've made this point before about starting Strength Gym, that it changed my life. That I just coincidentally started on this program at a time when I was dealing with some other thing in my life that was causing me problems, and that just, I don't believe in coincidences, and I think God put me in this program right when I needed to be in it, and it just changed me mentally, physically, on a molecular level. I'm going to tell that story when I get back, and I want to hear Jesse's story about how JD's program, in just a matter of a couple of months, changed his life. If you're watching us live streaming on social media right now, don't go anywhere. If you're listening to us on the radio, hang out for just a minute after you hear a word from these great sponsors. Hey, if you are watching us live streaming right now, you're seeing a flyer on the screen. October 5th, Sunday, October 5th. Normally we do Operation Comedy Therapy on a Sunday, but I wanted to book more talent this year. I wanted to have more comedians than we normally have. So this year we're going to have Chad Prather, Jesse Payton, obviously me and Steve Johnson, the Walton and Johnson Show are going to be there, and some other special guests. For those of you that don't know who Chad is one of the biggest right-wing stand-up comedians in the country. His show is absolutely hilarious. I know most of you watching me on X or social media do know who he is. He's our headliner this year. We've never had him at Operation Comedy Therapy before. He is hilarious. You're going to love Chad. He's a good friend. Jesse Payton's going to be there as well. Tickets are available for this at wheelchairsforwarriors.org. You will also find a link at the top of pretty much every Kenny Webster or Walton and Johnson social media account. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's it. That's really all we use. But if you go to one of those websites or just go to wheelchairsforwarriors.org, you can get tickets. Tickets start at $25. The show is technically free. We don't charge anybody to go to the show, but you make a tax deductible donation to Wheelchairs for Warriors. We will let you into the show, and you can hang out with us, drink beer, eat tacos. It's going to be a lot of fun. Have a red-pilled based evening filled with delightful PG-13 comedy. Stand by. We're going back on the air right now. All right. This is remarkable. Apparently, I was surprised by this. Hang on a minute. I'm hearing a recording of myself in the background. There's a new study that shows that cheerful music can help people get over car sickness. So if you have a weak stomach, you might want to stop listening to Depeche Mode. I guess that's what I took from this lesson. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Kenny Webster. I am here right now with two of the manliest men that I know. Jesse Henry is here from the MAHA movement. JD Shipley is here right now from Starting Strength Houston. And JD, I know I've asked you this story before, but at some point, and just if you could give us the Cliff Notes real quick, for those that are new, who are you? What is Starting Strength? What is it exactly? To those people in the Houston area or there's other people around the country that have a Starting Strength gym in their city. They might not even know it.
Who am I? I'm just some random guy from Spring, Texas that opened a couple Starting Strength gyms in Houston. And looking to open more. My mission is to help people get stronger, lead better lives by getting stronger. And what is Starting Strength? Starting Strength is a strength training method that is the simplest, most effective method that you can use to get stronger.
And that's really it. It's about data. This guy Mark Ripito figured out, get rid of all the shortcuts. When you see videos on the internet of women doing aerobics with a bungee cord or people wearing moon boots or whatever, that stuff's silly. It doesn't do anything. If you want to actually get stronger, using data, using analytics about your body type, how tall you are, how strong you are, here's the fastest way to get your numbers up. And I didn't lift weights at all before I started taking your program 3 years ago. Now it's like a drug addiction for me. I have to do it every week. Why do you think that is?
That is a good question.
Dopamine.
Jesse?
Dopamine, yeah.
You want
it's
a dopamine rush, man. It's a
Why?
playground. It's like you're tapping into something and you're getting off in a new way. And I think men who look at the gym as a playground and someplace that they want to go and they want to be, those are the people that'll stay fit forever.
Part of what's interesting about the program is that there is no gimmick. The gimmick is that there's no gimmick. And that's kind of hard to explain to people until they do it. Is like, no, look, this actually works. Oh, it's just lifting weights. Well, it's not just lifting weights. Most people that lift weights are doing it the wrong way. Can you elaborate on that a little?
I think most people chase the pump, or they will chase body part splits, and they'll
chase the pump. What do you mean?
So if you do enough work on like, you know, with a particular lift, your bodies will flush with blood, and you'll feel a pump, right? You'll feel good.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good, but it's not an indicator of success.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, this is a little, you made a point there, and I don't know why. Pavlov's dog here, you just reminded me of something. Forgive me, folks. It's getting a little racy here for just a second. Women have reported that men that are in this program, how do I explain this? Become girthier because of, I can't think of a tasteful way to explain. That's true, isn't it? That's scientifically proven to be true. Men that don't have a lot of testosterone, men that don't work out, men that are soft all over, tend to be soft in the places where it matters the most, right? Mm-hmm. And that's awkward because you're worried your daughters might be watching this later, but they're not.
No, I mean, yeah. So when I've, oh God, my wife's gonna kill me for saying this. When I first started, the gyms were never even a question, right? I just wanted to see how, I just wanted to get stronger. Yeah. And I remember I was working out 2, 3, 4, 5 months in, and my wife says, Yeah, things are better.
Yeah,
And I was like, dude, I'm
improving.
never not squatting ever again.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go squat right now, actually.
Well, I think that just goes to show the best way to increase your testosterone is to lift heavy weights.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's no, you don't need a bunch of TRT. You need to go pick up heavy weights and
That's
do
when
it
you
multiple
start,
times
yeah.
a week.
And it's not like the TRT hurts. Maybe that's helpful to somebody, but you don't need it. I didn't do that. I've met people in the program. Most people in the program don't do it. I've met a couple of men that have, and that's okay, right? Like that's not a problem. RFK Jr. does the TRT, doesn't he?
RFK, I believe he does.
And
I believe he does.
he is terrified of anything chemical related.
Yeah, yeah.
And oddly,
That's a
he's
good
okay
point.
with that.
That's actually a really good point.
It is a good point. My concern with the TRT thing is that once you're on a synthetic, it's really difficult to get off it because now your body is reliant on producing that testosterone through synthetic means as opposed to natural
Exogenous means, yeah.
That's
definitely.
why I don't take a bunch of supplements. I like going to the gym. I've worked out for 17 years and my weight was the exact same for 17 years until I joined this program.
I take supplements. I like creatine, glutamine. I don't even know what glutamine does, but if I don't get it, my veins will explode. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. All right, so let's talk about this before we run out of time here. Jesse, I talked you into taking the program.
You did.
What did you give us? What did you expect from it, and then what did it actually turn out to be like?
You know, I feel like the reason why people don't succeed in the gym is one of two reasons. They don't have the effort or they don't have the guidance. And I was putting in the effort for many, many years, but I didn't have the guidance. I didn't have someone standing over me and saying, you did a good job on your squat this week. We're going to increase it 5 or 10 pounds next week.
That's such a good way of
scary.
explaining it. Yeah.
That's scary. So before yesterday's workout, I psyched myself out for 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm going to go put 330 pounds over my back.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And so what did you get out of it?
Man, it's not just the amount of weight you lift, it's the type of person you become on the journey to lift that type of weight. I earned the right to be able to squat 330 pounds yesterday or deadlift 405 pounds yesterday. I earned the right to get to that platform to do that because I put in the work over the month. And it wasn't just that I put in the work. I had to ride my bike 6 miles each way every single time I did it.
Because you don't have a car here in Houston,
Right.
and it's not exactly a good city for biking around, but you did it, and that helped too, didn't it?
It did.
It doesn't hurt. A little bit of cardio doesn't hurt.
A little bit of cardio.
You guys have a bike in the gym. A little bit of cardio is technically part of it, right?
It's actually part of the program later on as it evolves.
Yeah.
All right,
Definitely.
so let's talk about this then. Part of men's health is mental health.
Yep.
And I think that it's a cycle. You get better in better physical shape, your mental health improves. Your mental health improves, you feel like working out more. You feel like working out more, you look better. You look better, your mental health improves. That's a part of this that you don't really know how to explain to people until they try it, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Did it do that to you?
Absolutely, right. So I started because I wanted to see how strong I could get. Right. It wasn't an aesthetic thing. It was more of a capability thing.
Yeah.
But it was very much a maybe a selfish or not an altruistic goal.
Mhm.
I just it was something that I wanted to do for me.
Yeah.
Right. There was I guess what I'm saying is there was some vanity in there.
Yeah.
Right. And the further along I got into it, right, the stronger I got, the more capable I was, the more sure of myself I was, the more grounded I guess
Yeah.
you can say
Absolutely.
I was. I could where lifting heavy before was scary, right? Going into it at some point it flipped. And lifting heavy was just a standard thing that I did.
It's become normalized.
Exactly. And so it becomes par for the course. And right, so the body's a system, right? So the mental health is a system all in of itself, and the physical side's a system all in of itself. But like those systems, they play into each other, so you don't get improvement in one without the improvement in the other.
Jesse, you been in the program for a little more than a month at this point.
Yep.
So it's hard sometimes to see your mental health change unless you look back at where you were 2 or 3 years ago. Like I was in a divorce when I started this program.
Yeah.
But do you see it?
I do. I feel it. And I think one thing to note for men out there is after you finish a workout, you always feel better mentally and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And emotions are just energy in motion, right? And so if you're a man that's sitting out there and you haven't hit the gym in a while, this isn't a means to shame you. This is a means to say, hey, if you're not in a good mental and emotional place, try going to the gym. Yep. Try getting a sweat in. Try pushing yourself a little further, because the best version of all of us is the version of us that's stronger.
One of our listeners on social media right now, watching us from the Roman Empire, is a guy named Artemis, and he says big legs, not necessarily calves, quads make testosterone. I don't know if he's right or wrong. What do you guys think about that?
I believe that's true. The legs are the biggest muscle.
If you make the muscle growth, right? Muscles are more than just movers of bone, right? There is a gland effect. Like they will help the rest of the systems produce what the body needs.
Jesse, you move away from Houston on Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
That will be your end of your little experiment with starting strength.
I know.
You're going off to Canada. That's terrible. I don't know. Is weightlifting even legal in Canada? I don't think it is.
It depends. If we make it the 51st state, it might.
It
Sorry,
might become.
that joke doesn't go over well.
Do you ever see, if you're going to travel around, there's starting strength in Florida, where you live. Do you see yourself doing this program?
The starting strength in Miami is very, very, very far south. I definitely see myself continuing with squat, bench, deadlift, press as the main functions of working out, and everything else will be ancillary.
I love it, man. JD, you've got these 2 gyms in Houston. They're very popular. The one in Houston's almost always sold out. The one in Katy, I'm told, has a little more space, which to our listeners, we have a lot of listeners out in Katy. They might actually be able to take advantage of that. Absolutely. If people want to try this program, and I got to tell you, and when I say this changed my life, I mean it changed my life. Well, it's the best. It's the cheapest way to get one-on-one fitness training. Mm-hmm. It's the cheapest way to transform yourself. It's the easiest way to become stronger. If I'm not selling this well, I think the best thing people could do is just come in and try it. Yep. How do they do that?
Well, so what I would say, if you're in Houston, obviously, if you Google starting strength, you'll find the gyms. But you're syndicated across the Gulf Coast, and we've got locations, locations across the Gulf Coast. So wherever your listeners are at, if they Google starting strength, they'll find a starting strength gym in there, as close to their area as possible. And
people can take an introductory course for free. Is that right? Mm-hmm. That's still a thing on anybody's website. You just go to any of the starting Google. Yeah. Or whatever search engine, I'm not trying to promote Google, whatever search engine you prefer to use.
DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo, yeah.
There's problems with that one, too. So.
I'm an Ask Jeeves guy. That's me. Okay. I'm a Bing guy. But all that being said, search for the word starting strength in your city. See if it's there. I think there's also an online thing. If people live in rural, Arkansas, then they don't have a gym near them, they can still do it that way, too, right?
I think it's important to note you don't have to train at a starting strength gym to do the program. The program is accessible for anybody that has access to,
and there's affiliates
to a squat rack. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or you can start on your own. I would say if that's a question, there's coaches near you. Give them a call. Right, get some sort of information, get some help getting started, and get started.
I love it, my man.
One thing that I find so interesting about this program, Kenny, is like you have a jack guy working out, and then right next to them you have a single mother of 2 or 3, and then right next to that person you have an 80-year-old man.
Yeah,
and you see an 80-year-old man put a bar over his head, and it gives you hope for the world.
Because he's been in the program.
People don't give up on their health when they're 80.
Dude,
they're still pushing.
I couldn't lift weights when I started this program. Now it's all I want to do. We got to run. I want to thank my guest, JD Shipley from Starting Strength Gyms, my buddy Jesse Henry from the MAHA movement. If people want to follow you on social media, where can they do that at?
LinkedIn. Just type in Jesse Henry, linkedin.com/n/Jesse Henry official.
And you do consulting for renewables and the chemical industry and that
sustainable chemistry.
Yeah, right on. I love it. Hey, I'm Kenny Webster. I love you all. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for more of what you bought a radio for on radio stations all over the good part of the country. Don't forget this right here, Operation Comedy Therapy, October 5th, Bad Astronaut Brewing Company, Chad Prather, Kenny Webster, Jesse Payton, Steve Johnson, radio legend, plus some other special guests. We'll be back, guys. Have a great day. Thanks so much for watching and listening.
You are listening to The Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when you listen to the show.